Am I speaking to Robert Chagulani?
That's right.
Okay, how are you? What is your situation at the moment?
Well, I am in hiding following a raid at my house by the military, commanded by the Chief of Defense Forces, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who happens to be Museveni's son, the guy that I ran against in last week's election, and strongly believe we beat him. But, because there's lawlessness, because the ruling family does what they want, now we got information that they were coming to harm me, and the father went ahead to confirm it, that they were looking for me to harm me, and I had no option but to disappear because I could not get safety from anywhere, not any institution in Uganda.
And have you heard from your family? How's your family doing?
I've heard from my family. My family are there. Of course, they are not safe. They are surrounded. My wife and my family are under house arrest. Nobody's allowed to get out of the house. Nobody's allowed to come in. They are short of food supplies, but the food supplies that have been delivered to them have been rejected by the army that is there. And that's the situation.
We heard that in another interview you gave that you are not that you're not going to try and legally fight against these election results. Why is that?
We don't trust the courts in Uganda. The courts in Uganda are all serving the system. They're all serving the regime. Just today, as we speak, a new Chief Justice has just been appointed by Museveni. Today, now he's appointing a new Chief Justice to adjudicate a case where he is petitioned against. And the courts in Uganda have been part of the decay for a long time, to the extent that the recent election of 2021, the Chief Justice demonstrated bias. But also, even a few times when the courts in Uganda have ordered for reforms, electoral reforms, the military regime has always flatly rejected them. So we see no hope, and we have no confidence in the court system. Our confidence is in the people of Uganda, and we've called upon the people of Uganda to defy the regime, to practice all manner of protests, including civil disobedience, for as long as it's non-violent and it's legal.
I know you can probably not reveal any of your plans because it might not be safe for you.
Well, but we made it very clear throughout our campaigns that we are handing over responsibility to every Ugandan. When I was campaigning, I told the people of Uganda not to hold my placard or my portrait, but to hold the national flag, so that each one of us has an equal responsibility in the liberation of this country.
Okay, so it's basically up to the people of Uganda, but right now, from what we were also there covering elections, and from what we've seen, there's quite heavy security everywhere. So it is also a lot to ask from people of Uganda, right? To go out and hold the flag.
Absolutely. It's so much in Uganda to ask a Ugandan to hold the national flag proudly. That should be shocking to the free world. It should be shocking to see that it is dangerous for a citizen of Uganda to hold a national flag. You've seen the military and police arresting people and beating them up for having a national flag. Unfortunately, the situation where we are calls for so much. We have to give so much.
And, your personal situation, you are in hiding. Do you plan to stay in hiding indefinitely, or...?
No. I'm not going to stay in hiding. I'll come out when I decide.
Chief of Defense Forces General Muhoozi Kainerugaba faces backlash after he went rogue on Monday night, issuing death threats to National Unity Platform presidential candidate Bobi Wine following the controversial election in which his father, President Yoweri Museveni, was declared winner. In a series of posts, some of which were deleted on Tuesday, General Muhoozi claimed responsibility for the deaths of 22 people over the past week and threatened to continue the attacks. Bobi Wine, who remains in hiding, says General Muhoozi has killed over 100 people and demands that the army leave his home, warning that his family is in danger. Gatete Njoroge reports.
Monday night, the X platform in Uganda was abuzz after Uganda's Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, took aim at supporters and leaders of the National Unity Platform. Known for his controversial social media presence, General Muhoozi posted on his official X account, declaring his intention to kill NUP foot soldiers until his father, President Yoweri Museveni, whom he refers to as Mzee, gives other instructions. The general continues with his rant, this time round, posting that he is embarrassed by as Mzee gives other instructions. The general continues with his rant, this time round, posting that he is embarrassed by the death record posted by the security forces, who have only killed 22 people in the last 1 week. He says the number is too low and promises to do better. Says, who have only killed 22 people in the last 1 week. He says the number is too low and promises to do better. Says, who have only killed 22 people in the last 1 week. He says the number is too low and promises to do better. He mentions NUP party leader Bobi Wine as the next target in their plan to remove and extinguish NUP party from Uganda, terming it a bad dream. Posts that elicited sharp reactions from journalists and human rights organizations. In a strange twist, General Muhoozi replied to their concerns with insults. He would later delete some of the posts following public outcry. Uganda Law Society has condemned the utterances. Muhoozi replied to their concerns with insults. He would later delete some of the posts following public outcry. Uganda Law Society has condemned the utterances, saying such statements represent a dangerous escalation of impunity and the abuse of rule of law. They add that his posts are incompatible with the constitutional mandate of the armed forces to remain neutral, non-partisan, and protective of all citizens. Meanwhile, Bobi Wine, who went into hiding after security forces raided his home, has continued to urge Ugandans to resist autocracy and liberate their country.
We want the people of Uganda to take charge of this and find numerous creative ways. It could be protesting on the streets. Some of us started protesting by holding high the national flag. Others can protest by staying at home.
Wine says the active threats and army presence at his home poses danger to his wife and other family members. He says the family is starving after the security officers blocked food from reaching them.
I would love to be in my home. I've not changed my clothes in days. I want to be home. I want to be free. I want to take care of my people. But the military and police have taken over my home.
The former NUP presidential candidate, while
I want to be free. I want to take care of my people. But the military and police have taken over my home.
The former NUP presidential candidate, while responding to General Muhoozi, claims the regime has killed over 100 people over the last 1 week. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV.